Hey nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. Today we are doing our final shop with me at Salvation Army. We're doing some thrift shopping. If you guys missed the first two parts of this, I will go ahead and link them down in the description below. But yeah, they had a ton of vintage things and just a ton of things in general to sift through, as you guys have been seeing. So let's go ahead and check out what else they had in the store today. So I immediately fell in love with this box container. It's like a little crock. They had all these spoons and forks inside of it. They didn't have any prices on them itself. I didn't really know if I was supposed to get the whole thing together. So I ended up taking out the silverware. I just didn't want to have to pay for those as well because I didn't really want to deal with them. I didn't really need them for anything. But yeah, I picked up the awesome Fox container and I thought it'd look really nice as a kitchen utensil holder to put in your spatulas and spoons that you would use for baking and whatnot. So I just thought it was really great. This was kind of an interesting plate to see. I don't really typically pick up these things with the calendars on it unless it's a date that means something to me. 1978 really doesn't, but the thing about this I found interesting was that it was a vintage 1977 piece from Spencer's Gifts. I didn't realize that store had been around that long as a store at the mall when I was a teenager, but apparently it was around for quite some time. I do come across these vintage Corningware coffee pots quite often. I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to work. I like that someone put circa 1979 on the bottom of it. But they're always very stained with coffee stains on the inside like this. And I always see them kind of in that condition. So I don't typically pick them up. I'm not even really sure how they work. If you just heat up the water on the stove and then put instant coffee in it, I really don't understand it. But this, I found another coffee mug with a name on it that I liked. You guys know a couple months back I picked up a mug that said Neil on it that I really enjoyed the image on it, and I really loved this vintage mug. So I think I have a collection now going of just random names on coffee mugs. So I saw this vintage Trivet. I usually pick these types up, but I had no idea who Robinson Crusoe was, so you guys will have to help me out here. Do you guys happen to know what this guy did for work? It says, you know, he's the only one that ever got the work done. I don't really understand it. So inside this little wicker basket was a bunch of corked coasters. They had these really neat images of horses on it, like this little tavern. So perfect for barware. Unfortunately, you see this one here, the cork had some wear. It was kind of like jabbed out. So I really wanted to get them. Had that one not been messed up, I definitely would have purchased those. I thought those are really neat. I looked through the craft section briefly. I came across this Christmas cross-stitch kit here. It's not really a kit, it just was filled with a bunch of patterns. And I was checking them all out. There were some really fun ones. I collect Santas, usually the figurines, but I do also really like needlework pieces like cross stitch and crewel. And yeah, I just thought these were super great. I love the Santa Chef one. That's one I would like to make myself, and the one with him camping is kind of cute. Lots of fun ones. Of course, I made my way over to the cookbook section, but I happened upon this vintage children's book here. It was really neat. When you open it up inside, they had these little laminated dogs throughout it where you could stick it in different areas throughout the book. So it's kind of nice that it's a little bit interactive in that way, but yeah, I thought that was really great. I did end up picking this up for my boys. I forget how much the magazines were. I believe there was some kind of a deal if you bought, a certain amount. So I think it might have been 3 for $1 or something like that. I was trying to find some vintage ones, or of course any Martha Stewart. I did happen upon one, and it was actually a Christmas edition, so that was great. Like I mentioned in a previous video, this thrift store has a ton of books and they have a great vintage book selection. Let me know down in the comments what type of vintage books you tend to gravitate towards. Are you looking for children's books, or do you like the more novels that they, had? I like the bindings on the novels, and it's not something I don't think I would read too much, but I think they look really nice for decor. If they're more of like a history educational one, that's kind of more what I'm into. I don't really like fiction books. But I do, of course, like the vintage children's books. That's usually what I gravitate towards myself. This was a Walt Disney book. I love the graphics on the front of it, and then it had some nice images throughout it as well. And I actually did pick this book up. I just thought it had an interesting look. I didn't really read too much about what it was, but I like the starburst on it. I like the deer and the guitar player on the back, the convertible. I just thought, if that's what the cover looked like, then it must be a great book, right? I definitely judged the book by its cover there. I love vintage lighting, and I just thought this starburst glass cover was great. Now, I did pick it up to put into my home, so it's a nice project that I brought home for my husband to do. I'm sure he's going to be very thrilled with me. So Wade Whimsies are something I recently started collecting a couple months ago when I happened upon a baggie filled with them at Goodwill. I fell in love with them and it's something I'm keeping a lookout for. I knew sort of what I have. I've been picking them up here and there, but there was only one I found at the store today, and I'll show you guys that in the upcoming thrift haul, where I do a recap of everything I purchased, both to keep for myself and the stuff I'm going to go ahead and list up in my eBay store. I do have my store link down below if you guys want to check that out as well. But they have lots of vintage knickknacks and figurines up in this section here. So this donkey ended up being a salt and pepper shaker, but it was just so fun. I love his expression. He had a great look to it. And more often than not, people collect these salt and pepper shakers just to use as decor anyway. So I did pick the little guy up. I thought he was too cool to leave behind. Well, that concludes my Salvation Army thrifting along with me trip here. If you guys want to catch a recap of everything that I actually purchased, be sure to check out the thrift hauls coming up. I will first show you the items I picked up to resell that will be listed in my eBay, and then I will show you the items I picked up to keep for myself in the next video. So, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye!